Hey, what's up? Lightboltjoe here. Today we are going to discuss book 36 in R.L. Stine's Goosebumps original series. The Haunted Mask 2 came out October 95. Now, why this book is very important is because this is the first book that says watch Goosebumps on Fox Kids TV, right? Because there was a 4-season TV series, Goosebumps, based on the books. Some episodes are based on like other things. Not every episode is actually a book turned to show. Some of it is very just like the writers wrote this kind of a thing. But why this is also important is because the first two episodes was the Haunted Mask Part 1, Haunted Mask Part 2, which came out October of 95. So the sequel book, Haunted Mask 2, and the TV episodes about the first story, Haunted Mask 1, both came out October 95. So October 95 was a very big month in regards to Goosebumps. Premiere of this TV series, merchandise galore everywhere. The 36th book, which was the sequel to the first Haunted Mask, which was like book 11 or something like that. Let me just... Book 11! Look at that. Haunted Mask. Okay, so, aside from pop culture and nostalgia reasons why that's important, the mask description is exactly how it's described in the story. But the kid is wearing a hobo costume throughout the book. Not this orange t-shirt, red Converse, and some blue jeans. Also, he didn't have a pillowcase for a candy bag. He had a paper candy bag with pumpkins on it that he threw out. No. So this part is correct. The rest is not correct. So I have my little pet peeves going on with this beautiful artwork. It's gorgeous artwork. It's just incorrect artwork. Anyway, so Steve Boswell, we know, is best friends with Chuck. They like to scare Carly Beth Caldwell all the time and her friend Sabrina, right? So Carly Beth is the wearer of the first mask in the first book. She gets the mask from this party store in town. The guy who owns it is a weird dude. He's got a black cape on, and he says like, oh, I made these masks. These are actual human faces. They're not, just props and they come to life or whatever. The way to get Carly's mask off was through an act of love. At the end of the first book, Noah, her younger brother, puts the mask off and, says something in the roar voice, and then it just cuts. That's it. Noah's not referenced in this book. The only time he's actually referenced is that one of the first graders that Steve is coaching for soccer is saying, oh yeah, I'm friends with her brother. They live around the block, kind of a thing. That's it. But we don't know what happened with him. He's not in this book. How did they get the mask off so quick? Was an act of love needed? Like Carly's putting her paper plaster of Paris head on top of her that her mom made to get the mask off. That was an act of love. The mom made the mask. The mom made the head out of an act of love because she loves her daughter. So then that was the act of love that can get the mask off. So we don't know what happened with Noah. How did he get the mask off? Or did he just put it on quick enough that Carly just ripped it off? Carly Beth ripped it off. That way it didn't actually attach, and that was that. We don't know. We don't know if she even returned the mask. We don't know. So, actually, I think... Did she return the mask? I think it's referenced that the mask that Carly wore was in the box that Steve found. I don't remember, to be honest. I don't think they returned the mask. Maybe it was destroyed. Who knows? So, Steve goes to the party store with Chuck after school one day to get a mask because he wants to scare these first graders who are just absolute animals, as he references them. He got caught putting a squirrel in the girls' locker room, and as his punishment, they're now in 6th grade. As his punishment, he has to coach the first grade soccer team, and they're called the Hogs. Why a 12-year-old is coaching why an 11-year-old is coaching a bunch of, 6-year-olds? I don't know. But that was the plot. So he wants to scare these kids. So he goes back to the store that Carly had references, because they talk. And it's closed. It's shut down. Boxes are in the basement. Everything's black in the inside. So, but the basement door is left open in the alleyway. So him and Chuck go down, go through snooping some things. And then the guy who owns it, the guy in the black cape, comes down and he says, no, you are not to have these masks. They're problems. They can't be worn, etc. Steve steals a mask, bolts home with Chuck, and then sees that he pulled the old man mask, which is the one that we have on the cover. And he puts it on, and then he takes it off, and then he puts it on again. and then he starts to become the old man on Halloween. And then, like, he's got spiders crawling out of his ears, he's got a rotten tooth with a hole in it, things, right? So he is now desperately trying to scare these first graders who feel pity on this old man and want to help him get where he needs to go. And they drop him off at Carly's house, and he talks to Carly, who's planning a Halloween party, and she said, "Why would you do that? I told you not to do this, and you did it anyway." So he did it anyway. They go to the party place. Obviously, it's closed. And so they then go snooping through the boxes again, finding these costumes, and then the face starts to get all tingly when a certain, like, black suit comes out of the costume box covered in spiders. So if he's covered in spiders and the suit's covered in spiders, obviously it's a pair. And then that is what the tingle was that allowed the mask to come off of Steve's head, float to the suit body, and then they escape the basement together and they live happily ever after into the night on Halloween. So it wasn't an act of love needed to get Steve's mask off. The mask itself needed its own body. So it's very user specific. So the mask that Carly had needed an act of love to counteract the evil. The mask that Steve had needed the spider cobweb infused suit matching the spider cobweb infused head, kind of a thing. Now, they then go running out, celebrating, joyous, yay, we did it, let's go hop, skip, and jump, and they start twirling around on each other. Very cute, right? For two people who hated each other for quite a long time. So then they go down the alleyway, and then another purple monster creature comes out with a worm coming out of the face, and then, Chuck starts to laugh, and he says, I got you, I've been waiting this whole time, you didn't know I stole this mask, when you stole the other mask, but I got a problem, can you help me take it off? And then that's it, that was the end of the book. We don't have the Haunted Mask 3, we're not as fortunate as we are with the Monster Blood franchise, where there's 4 of those books, there's only 2 Haunted Mask books. There's 3 Living Dummy books, I think, Night of Living Dummy books, I believe there's 3 of those. We did 2 so far. So, the mask is a very important visual for Goosebumps in general, right? We all know the franchise, we know the 2 books, we know the TV series, we know that the show started with part 1 and part 2. I've seen that the most out of all of the Goosebumps shows. It's a great episode. It's creepy, it's scary, it's very well done with costuming, gorgeous makeup design. So I want to revisit this series again, TV-wise, to see if I pick up on things now that I know the stories. And see what the other stories are. Were they Goosebumps 2000s books, which we're not getting to anytime soon. I have a backlog of books to read after these Goosebumps books, so maybe 5 years from now we'll get to it. We'll see. Or were they specifically, like I had mentioned before, just the writers writing stories for Goosebumps episodes? So, I don't know. I'm not familiar. But Book 36, R.L. Stine's Goosebumps original series, The Haunted Mask 2. Watch Goosebumps on Fox Kids TV. And so it begins. Onto the next batch of reviews. Onto the next batch of TV series moving on. Because now books and shows were released at the same time. Very important. 95 was a big year. Big year with Goosebumps. Big year for Goosebumps. On to the next review. Mucho mahalo.